you boys. Come to y'all boy one more time, real quick. Kind of a little bit later than expected, but still, you know what I'm saying? Still bringing that NBA playoff vibes. You know what I mean? As far as breaking everything down, seeing where everything is going, all that other good stuff. It's been an interesting playoff so far. Can't even lie about that. Can't even lie about that. So, I mean, the simple fact that, you know what I mean, we've gotten this far, and right now I just want to kind of quickly go over, you know what I mean, some of the same thing. I didn't even check the last video, but I'm pretty sure I made some predictions and all my predictions came true. But, you know what I mean, that's for somebody else to kind of go back on. And if you're watching this, definitely like, share, and subscribe. Keep saying I'm gonna do more of this, and I will do more of this. I'm gonna be more consistent, just knocking some things out. But anyway, back to the NBA playoffs. First round saw some great action, great matchups. You know what I mean? And this is the most wide open playoffs. I'm pretty sure I've said that before. You know what I mean? There were at the beginning definitely, out of the 16 teams, at least 13, 14 that you really felt strong about. You know what I mean? And then surprise, surprise, the Pelicans came in and made a run. And they challenged, the Pelicans. I mean, the Pelicans challenged the Suns. You know what I mean? The Suns had an injury, and that's always the thing about the NBA playoffs. It's always about the injuries sometimes, and what hits first and what hits hard would last the longest. Because even Milwaukee, obviously, right now, after their first round, kind of shellacking, unfortunately, of my Bulls, at least they limped out a little bit with that one. But, wish Chris Middleton well, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to him. You know what I mean? James Allen, word up. But, yeah, and as you kind of see, I mean, Jokic, even if he's the MVP, you can see that, you know what I mean, even being the most valuable player, you know what I mean, it takes more than just one, which even brings me to the quick topic of Brooklyn. It takes more than two. You know what I mean? You actually have to build a team, and the crazy part is they actually let a team go. Oh, gosh, Ja Morant. They actually let a team go just so that they can kind of, I don't know, add James Harden, who ended up leaving, and now him in Philadelphia. Man, James Harden can't catch a break. If he's chasing rings, he went to Brooklyn. Kyrie with the bullshit. Damn, KD with the injury again. He got hurt. Like, god dang, everything wasn't working. Okay, try to run it back. Kyrie again with the bullshit. Damn, Kevin Durant again with the injury. He was like, all right, I'm done with this. So now, you know what I mean, you go into goddamn, yeah, you gotta see this woman squat just a little bit. But but anyway, when you get past all of that, you know what I mean? When you get past all of that, it is, interesting to see once again some of the teams that did show their heads. Now, imagine if the Pelicans had Zion. I know I was talking about Brooklyn and James Harden, and he left and went to Philly, and now look at Philly because he can't catch a break because now Joel Embiid's face is broken, speaking of injuries. And that's what I'm saying. Injuries are a part of the game. Injuries happen. You know what I mean? They definitely can skew things one way or another, but at the same time, that's why you need a team. You know what I mean? The best teams go into it. That's why there's 82 games. So when people do get hurt or get in, you know what I mean, or get suspended or have some other issues or whatever the hell comes up, you know what I mean, even if they're just not playing well, hell, you know what I mean, you can always rotate another man, next man up type of situation. But obviously that rule doesn't apply to superstars. It'll take like 3 or 4 dudes to replace probably a superstar's production and impact. But that's a whole nother story, whole nother issue. And then we look at going back to the West, that whole, Dallas-Utah situation. Like Utah, honestly, this year had a prime opportunity to kind of like, at least solidify themselves as a true contender for years to come, being like, okay, we're 1 piece away, we're 2 pieces away, you know what I mean? But now it seems like they're probably like 4 or 5 pieces away, for making something happen. And Boston was always in that position as well, where it's like, oh, should we break up, Tatum? Should we break up Brown? Is Marcus Smart a point guard? I think all those questions have been answered and checked, at least thus far. And I mean, they have that playoff experience. I mean, it's not like those young boys have never been to the Eastern Conference Finals or ever challenged, to try to get a title. But they're obviously the same boat, 1 or 2 pieces short. Same with Denver, as I mentioned earlier. Like I said, it's kind of sad that old boy, you know what I mean, went down like he did, but they didn't have their other two, and I know that's the excuse, and that's what people say, So I let that shit be. Now the Minnesota series and the Memphis series, I'll just say this: I'm not a Minnesota fan, but I was happy to see a good series, and I'm an Ant fan. I will say that I do like Anthony Edwards. You know what I mean? And I kind of hoped that if there was an upset, that was going to be the upset. Not because I don't like John Morant, because I love John Morant. You know what I mean? Obviously, being South Carolina, where what I mean. So it was always kind of like good to see. I just wanted to see the best team win. The best team did win. However, Minnesota blew so many leads in that series. It's hard to be like, but the best team always wins the game. It doesn't matter who's up in the first half, first quarter, first 3 quarters. You could be up all the whole game up until the last 2 minutes, and if you lose the last 2 minutes, then you lost the game. So I get that. There ain't no excuses. You know what I mean? The same, like I said, with the Pelicans, even though they fought hard, the Suns just knew how to close the games out. And CJ McCollum is used to dishing that ball off to the Dame a little bit, to get a little bit more. He had Brandon Ingram, who was balling his ass off, but once the defense rotated his way, things just kind of swayed a little bit differently. But that first round was very dope. That first round was very nice. Atlanta, they showed. They just showed what they needed. You know what I mean? Like, they showed that they can be a consistent playoff team, at least right now, but they showed that they still need, room to grow, and that last year was kind of a fluke. And that's why Milwaukee is going so hard, because I believe in their minds they have to prove, and maybe not. I'm speaking for people I don't even fucking know. But at the same time, it seems like they're out to prove like last year wasn't a fluke. We are a great team. We're a championship team. Respect us, type of shit. And obviously the debates now are starting to, simmer and kind of bubble up where, Giannis is the best player in the NBA. And some people are, outraged by that. Oh my gosh, what the fuck? They laugh at it, they do whatever they do. But at the same time, it is what it is. It is what it is. You know what I mean? But hey, sometimes you take a chance. You take a chance. I kind of wish Charlotte had gotten in that position that Atlanta was in, but like I said, Atlanta, they have something to build on. They know where they can try to go from. Going back to Utah, I know I'm all over the fucking place, but going back to Utah, like, them boy need maybe 4 or 5 pieces, or maybe they do need to break up the duo. That's just my opinion on that. Miami is looking okay. You know what I mean? Actually haven't seen them at full strength too much yet. So it is kind of like, hey, we'll see what happens. And plus, if they get a Joel Embiid-less second round series, they probably won't be challenged. So if they do face Milwaukee, that'll be a smack in the mouth. And maybe that first game that they get smacked in the mouth, kind of like, we've been, cruising through the playoffs as the number one seed. That shit might come back and bite you in the ass with that one game. However, Golden State is making the move, and now it's like Golden State or Memphis. Yes, I want to go with the young Memphis. I mean, I'd like the early, like maybe the first version of Golden State, you know what I mean? But even that shit, I was kind of like, I had kind of wished and hoped, I think back then, that out the West, that the Clippers probably came through, or maybe even Oklahoma City at that time. Oh, gosh, excuse me. But at that time, it was the Warriors, and they did their thing, and I applauded them, you know what I mean? Because, they challenged LeBron, and I was kind of happy about that. Not that I'm a LeBron hater, but just seems like anytime LeBron gets challenged, but he stepped up to the challenge, and that was also something that, at least for me as a basketball fan, proved something to me. Once again, this is kind of Markman / AKA Graybeard Logic. If you like, share, subscribe, obviously. Talking basketball right now. You know what I mean? Thank you. Like I said, once again, trying to get more consistent with this shit. But now we in the second round. I haven't even spoke on it, but That's it, man. I mean, there's some teams and the youth and all of that is just like inspiring to see because the torch is being passed and Giannis is kind of that gap guy, kind of like what Elijah Wan was, except Elijah Wan was more or less like at the end of his career and Mike was just taking a break. So that's a little bit different, you know what I'm saying, than kind of like LeBron being toward the end of his career. KD still is effective, but and Kawhi still hasn't stepped up again. You know what I mean? Like he was in the running for a little while of being the best player in the world, considered such. So even next year is going to be a pretty nice thing to see. But now, who knows? Like I said, the young dudes are taking over. So if you don't have a young dude on your squad that's balling, then you probably falling short. You know what I mean? Because the older dudes only getting older. So you need some young legs and some young talent. That's just facts. That's just facts. You know what I mean? That's where the Lakers fell short. They had too many old legs and not enough young legs. You know what I mean? And the old legs will do it in the playoffs, but you need all them legs to get to the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like that's first and foremost. And speaking of young legs with a nice little mix of veteran, it's Toronto. Toronto, obviously, if they can attract a superstar, that shit would be dope. It'll be hard for them boy to attract a superstar, but they do have homegrown because Siakam is dope. And I mean, I think they got to see what you got with Scotty Barnes. Maybe trade OG and maybe try it because the only big names out there is obviously like a Dame or a Bradley Beal or something like that. But you never know. Maybe it will be a Donovan Mitchell this summer. You know what I mean? Maybe Zion will say, you know what, the team looked good without me. I guess I can go right now. You know what I mean? I don't feel as bad for leaving because now the team, hell, at least they're making the playoffs without me. So I don't really owe the organization nothing except for maybe 1 year to show everybody I'm right and I can get a max deal and sign and trade or do whatever you could do. But the league is looking bright, you know what I mean? Because like I said, the old heads are kind of like either teaming up with young dudes in the case of Chris Paul, or you know what I mean, you just teaming up together trying to damn do it. And that might not work because now these dudes in the 26, 27, 28, now they taking the game serious. And see, that's the difference in generation as well, too. Back in the day, obviously most most basketball players that were in the league went at least 3 to 4 years of college. So when they were getting into the league, they were already in their, early 20s, and they had to sit for a couple unless they were just like, Irvin Magic Johnson or, Michael Jordan or somebody or Larry Bird or somebody, you know what I mean? Obviously, high draft picks. You're going to do what you do. You know what I mean? So shout out to them Golden Hoops. That was dope little damn compilation of NBA highlights. But back to the business. Just to close this out real quick. The second round, my predictions. Now I kind of, pontificated on the first round and how I saw teams and probably what they need to do, and even the teams that were close, what they possibly need to do. You know what I mean? But we'll see what that offseason brings. You know what I mean? Who knows where who's going because contracts are getting bigger and, it kind of makes no sense. Just like I was looking at James Harden contract earlier, as far as like, okay, if he re-signs, it'll be like 37-something million. But if he signs a contract extension, it'll be upwards to $61 million when he's 37 years old. Now, I understand that you're, equating that to like, okay, things will go up, the salary will go up or whatever, the salary cap will go up. But why not pay the motherfucker right now? You know what I mean? And then incrementally go down. Like, okay, if you make him 37, give him a boost. Make it like 45, make it 47 or some shit like that when this extension kicks in. Then the year after that, it's going to be like 45. Then the year after that, the shit's like 43, 42. And then by the time he's 37, now the shit's back to like the original 30-something million, mark where, okay, you ain't no better, no worse, but you still got your money. But obviously contracts ain't set up like that. And I hope that, everybody get their money the most way they can. I'm just saying for teams as fans, if you want to try to like make sure you compensate the proper players and, have room to, build a team with them. You know what I mean? Like instead of superstar. Okay, well, I'll just say this: there's always going to be the level in class where the superstars will make at least 10, 15, and sometimes $20 million more than the next tier guy. Even if that next tier is a star, that star is still, lacking at least 15, $20 million less than, the top 10 player. I'm talking about like the 15 through 20, fringe top 10 type of player, that type of deal, that type of max player. Like you haven't gotten the accolades yet as far as the all-star and, those things that kick off like the damn super max and all that other shit. Like Bradley Beal kind of did, as long as he was an all-star, first, second team, whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. Thank you. You know what I mean? That's how you damn get it. But most NBA fans know about the contract situations and how some of that shit works. And shout out to, all the other YouTubers out there, talking that basketball shit. Because it's a great time to talk basketball. It's a lot of shit, So I think I've gone through everything. That first round, Brooklyn got swept. Oh my gosh. I wasn't surprised, but most people are. I'm not even tripping about that because I knew that they didn't have a team. And once again, old legs. You got Aldridge, you got Griffin, you got, some big dudes that can give you some time, but I think you asking too much and trying to squeeze too much out of them at the wrong time. You know what I mean? Like they came on board looking to be carried, let alone, really heavily contribute. But really, they should still be able to heavily contribute. But that's neither here nor there. You know what I mean? And so Boston moves on. Like I said, Milwaukee demolished the Bulls. The Bulls need to do some work. Hopefully, we can probably finesse AD out of the Lakers and give them DeRozan as he starts to, incline and because he has that old man game. So even if we keep him, which would be dope, we would have to him and Levine. Like we seen that we gotta get rid of Vucevic. So that's what I'm saying. If we can get AD by getting like Vucevic off, I would hope we can keep him, but we would have to let him go, contract reasons. And then DeMar DeRozan, and maybe they'll want Caruso, Alonzo back, but nah, they can't have that. Maybe they could have Kobe White or somebody. And then we can get AD and, Taylor Horton Tucker and, maybe some other draft pick or some shit. Or we give them a draft pick. That's fine. We'll give them a future first round or two for Anthony Davis. You know what I mean? But I doubt he leaving. I'm just, kind of spitballing and hoping and wishing. But anyway, anywho, the game's coming on tonight. You know what I mean? There's already been one. Milwaukee's already up in that Boston series. Golden State squeaked one by. And that was a sloppy game. And there was uncharacteristic things happening, but that's playoff basketball. That's how you know that everything ain't quite scripted. And even if it is, I guess the actors fuck up sometimes. You know what I mean? You sometimes you do mess up your lines. But no, I'm not going to be smirched the league like that. But even if it is, that's a whole nother issue. But anywho. Dang, I was talking so much I forgot that damn. I even had my little background music playing. What kind of shit? But anyway, so to close this out, hopefully y'all enjoy the games tonight. I mean, what's that? Philly and Miami, and then it's the Suns, and that's the thing. That's gonna be my upset alert. The Suns will probably more than likely, I will say, right now my confidence level is 6 out of 10 times in my mind. I believe that Dallas Mavericks will beat the Phoenix Suns in a 7-game series as constructed. 6 times out of 10. So that means that I'm leaning obviously towards Dallas. That first game will show you something. And I mean, you hate making predictions after a first game, like, oh, well, they already got a game. It's easy to, but you can still see, like, even in the Memphis shit, like, yes, even though Golden State got a game, I mean, yeah, they missed some shots, but so did Memphis, you know what I mean? So it's going to be a tight series. I think that might run you 7 games. That might be a classic one. That might be a good one. And I actually think Milwaukee and Miami are going to meet pretty soon. I think both of those series will probably end in 5. So, the East is going to be like a Miami-Milwaukee rematch. Both of them kind of retooled and at the top. But, That's just my prediction. Good luck, Boston. But like I said, it's all about them. Giannis at this point. Giannis is the best player in the league. Yes, I said it. Oh, I don't know if you want to clap about that. Some people want to laugh about that. You know what I mean? Some people want to. Yeah, there we go. Some people want to give me that shit on that. You know what I mean? But I believe that Giannis is the best player in the world. Make sure you see everything down there. Follow that. You know what I mean? Instagram, the YouTube, the Instagram, the Spotify. Because I know you be listening to Spotify. I know you be, doing your thing. But, check out a podcast here or there. You know what I mean? And the podcast you should be checking out is Liquid Courage. You know what I mean? New episodes coming every, you know what I mean? Like, that shit is good. And you can catch up from the old stuff, and by the time you caught up from the old stuff, shoot, you right in the mix. You getting it going, you know what I mean? It's flowing. But anyway, hopefully, like I said, your boy enjoyed the games tonight. And I'll be back with you as far as, like, my assessment. Hopefully, it won't be after round 2. It'll be mid-round 2. I'll probably catch your boy, you know what I'm saying? Maybe, like, game 3, game 4-ish, you know what I mean? Let your boy know what's going on and some more basketball news that kind of comes out. But in the meantime, in between time, your boy stay safe, be easy, you know what I mean? And yeah, like, share, subscribe. I'll let your boy later. Yo.